Hey Friendo, Steve here. What's going on? Welcome back to the Friendo Workshop. Today I'm going to draw a picture of Deadpool and answer some of your questions. Right now, if you take a look, I'm already getting started. I'm not working on it right now. I worked on it earlier. That's why it's all fast and stuff. But before I get started on your questions, I want to show you, this is sort of what I do first. I draw like a bunch of different, really quick sketches. Like you can see here, I'm sort of flipping through the pages. I draw like a bunch of the quick ones to see like what pose might work best. Before I get really started on it. And then I landed on one that I liked. It should be popping up right now. I'll have to manipulate how fast it goes. But anyways, before I get into your questions, I got a couple announcements to make. One of your questions asked, would you ever consider selling prints? And that's kind of a tricky thing because if I'm doing pictures of like Batman and Deadpool and stuff like that, like popular characters, that's kind of a tough thing because I don't own those characters. And so to sell prints of them would technically be illegal. And like a lot of people, especially like at comic book conventions, they get away with that and they do it in Marvel and DC and whatnot, sort of turn a blind eye to that stuff. But I've always felt kind of sketchy about that. Like I'm okay doing a video about it and making some ad revenue off that. But to actually sell the prints, I kind of just prefer not to do that just for, whatever legal issues may entail. I don't know. They're not my characters. I don't own them. So I'm not going to, profit off them, even if only a couple people buy it. But on the flip side of that, I do have plenty of original stuff that is just sort of sitting on my computer that I'm going to upload. Hopefully over the next week, I'm going to start trickling down or, posting them up or whatever so that you can buy some original stuff from me. It's just not going to be like the stuff that I show off here. I have like whenever you want to use one of my pieces as like a wallpaper on your phone, which a couple of you have already done, you can always go to either my DeviantArt or I'm actually working on a sort of blog website thing that I hope to get up soon, and I'm going to post everything there, and I'll turn the pieces into like wallpapers and then phones, and I'll probably even do like a high res version. So if you want to go ahead and print them out, free of charge, but you're going to have to pay for the printing or whatever, then you can go ahead and do that. If you really want them, I have no problem doing that. And so, yeah, hopefully I'll get like my artwork, like, the original stuff that I do. It'll be on t-shirts and prints. I think Society 6, I think I might get set up there because they have prints and t-shirts and iPhone cases, stuff like that. So I'll probably do that. And that'll be coming soon. And then I'm going to have my own, site where you can get that. And then I might list my comic books again for sale if any of you are interested in that. I might do that. So yes and no, because they're not my characters. I'm not going to sell prints of the actual stuff I do here unless I do something original, which is very possible down the line. But first I'm going to go ahead and do these kind of characters that everybody knows and loves. So like I said, today I'm doing Deadpool right here, as you can see, and I'm going to answer some questions while you guys can watch me draw, I guess. Let's see here. First of all, there's that, would you ever consider selling prints one? Another one, who inspires you as an artist? Well, I grew up on comic books. That's where I got most of my inspiration from. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I still kind of want to do. So some of my inspirations growing up were like guys like Frank Miller was big with me. Norm Brayfogle, a lot of people. He's sort of like an underrated Batman artist. I feel like not a lot of people. He's not like one of the most critically acclaimed Batman artists, but back in like the late 80s, early 90s, he was around a lot. He did a lot of Batman stuff. It was really cool. So I like his stuff. Later on, I got really into Paul Pope. In fact, my tattoo is a Paul Pope piece. Kevin McGuire was also around in the late 80s, 90s. He's still around now. And I love his stuff. Trying to think of anybody else. There's a couple. Frank Quitely is an amazing artist. I really love his stuff. So there's just a couple of artists there. There's all sorts of them, though. I probably missed out a lot. Missed a bunch of them. Let's see here. Do you only draw? Do you paint as well? I've painted some pieces. I'm not good at painting, though. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. And whenever I paint, I try to apply the principles of like Photoshop. Like I'll put down a layer and then I'll try to put down another layer. And I think it's supposed to be more of a mixing thing. I don't know. I'm not very good at it. Like there's some pieces that I've done that I've actually been okay with, and I've been, I've been sort of into them. But I basically try to stay away from it. It's always something I really like to try to do, but once I get to it, I remember why I don't like doing it, because I'm like, it's just all messy and I can't get the colors right. How long have I been drawing? I've been drawing since I was probably. I always used to win coloring contests. Like they used to have, the grocery stores used to have like coloring contests for like crayons and stuff. I always used to do really good at those. So I think I had sort of the itch really early on when I was like a little kid. And then when I was like 10 and comic books I started getting into comic books because of the Michael Keaton Batman movie. I started drawing then. I started drawing my own comic books back then. I actually have a couple. Maybe I'll post them up at some point because I don't know where they are right now. But they're awful, of course, because I was fucking 10 years old. So I have some of those. So I started when I was like 10, and then I just kept on drawing, and throughout the years I sort of took some time off and got back on, and took some time off and got back on. So let's see here. What is your favorite thing to draw? People. As opposed to like technical stuff and cars and buildings and perspective. I'm decent. Like I enjoy drawing people. I get a kick out of drawing people. Backgrounds, I don't like drawing backgrounds. And I'm always excited whenever I do a good background because I'm like, oh, I suck at this. What am I doing? Like, how did I do this good? I don't even know. Let's see here. What was my main influence to start drawing? Well, that was comic books. Like I got into comic books when I was like 10, like I said. First it was Batman, and then Justice League and Superman, and then I somehow crossed over into the Punisher and started getting Marvel stuff. It's weird when you're starting to get into comic books because you just focus on DC or Marvel. Like you never really, for me anyways, and a lot of people I know, was like you're either one or the other, and then if you start to cross over, then you can start seeping in. But like crossing over is kind of a big thing. You're either a Marvel guy or a DC guy. I was always a DC guy. Let's see here. I want to ask if you ever looked into doing a web comic. If so, why haven't you? I've tried a couple times to do like, single panel little pieces of art as like a web comic, but like doing a proper web comic every single day and putting as much into it as like, any of your major web comic artists, it's like a full-time thing, like more than a full-time thing. And so I can't do everything I want to do and that on top of it because it's not going to pay off for me, like so I've wanted to do it, but I've just never really, it takes a lot to do like a proper way. If I did it, I'd want to do it proper. Let's see here. We have a request for something Suicide Squad or Superman versus Batman movie. Maybe I will. Let's see here. I've been having hand cramps simply writing. How do you avoid these things while drawing? How do you avoid? I haven't really. I don't know. I stop every once in a while. I just sort of do this. I've never really had like a session where I've gone so long drawing that it's starting to hurt. So I don't know. Go see a doctor, I guess. I don't know. Are you looking forward to getting Dark Knight 3? I am. I'm curious. I like. Apparent from what I hear. What's his name? Brian Azzarello. Is that his name? The guy who's co-writing it with Miller apparently has a pretty heavy hand in writing The Dark Knight 3. And so that's really interesting because I really like his stuff. So that should make it really interesting. I like Andy Kubert and Klaus Janson, the artists on it, so that's pretty cool. Frank Miller has already said that he's writing and drawing Dark Knight 4. I like the idea that they might open up the universe and have Frank Miller be sort of like the executive producer of the entire thing, and then get other people to do, their own stories within that universe, because I think it's a really interesting universe, that has a lot of potential for stories to be told. Let's see here. Anyways, that's it for questions. That's it for questions. If you have more questions, go to ask.fm/MFSteve here. Hopefully by now the Deadpool drawing's done, and I'll go ahead and show you the finished product right now. See, I can speed this up or speed it down for as long as these questions are. So I'll be done right now, and I'll show you guys the finished product. There you go. There's Deadpool. I really like this one, actually. I'm pretty happy with it. Deadpool's one of those guys, like his costume always has like very small variations. Like when you Google him and get an image search, because I had to do it for reference, nobody draws him the same way twice. Like his belt buckles and his little costume quirks here and there. Like you can always tell it's Deadpool, but some people draw him buff, some people draw him skinnier. I like this sort of skinnier version. And so I don't know, like, is it exactly Deadpool? Maybe not, but I think it's Deadpool enough. So yeah, there he is, pencils and then photoshopped, and then there he is. I'm happier with this piece than I was the Batman piece. I was gonna give him a little caption, like a little word balloon thing, but I didn't know what to put in his words. I don't know what he's gonna say. So yeah, there he is. There's Deadpool. You can check this out. Go to my DeviantArt. There's a link in the description. You can check it out there. And then I'm also gonna start. I forgot to mention this. I'm gonna start selling the original sketches. See, I'm okay with that because it's like one single sketch. I'm just not gonna mass produce prints. You can buy the single sketches. I'll put in a link in the description to my eBay store. I only have the Deadpool up one right now. Hopefully between the time this goes up and between the time I'm recording this and the time it goes live, I'll put the Batman one up as well. They're like $40. I figure that's kind of a fair price to charge, like for a sketch. You know, it's going in the video. It's a one-of-a-kind item. I did it. It's only $40. You know, if you can afford it, great. If you can't, don't buy it. Just download the wallpaper off of the DeviantArt, and you can have it on your phone. That's probably even better. So, anyways, that's it for me. That's it for the Friendo Workshop. If you have any more questions, go ahead and leave them at ask.fm/mfsteve here. Whatever questions you have about art or whatever, just go ahead and leave them there, and I'll answer them on the next show. So we'll talk to you guys later. If you have any suggestions, let me know what you want to see on the next one. We'll talk to you guys later.